So I want to sit there and talk about DarksydePhil, aka DPS Gaming. And like the title says, in some ways, and I do want to be very, very specific when I sit there and say, in some ways, he is misunderstood. Don't get me wrong, there's stuff that he's done in the past that has been just terrible. Just been bad looks. But here's the thing though. If you type up DarksydePhil, there's not one video where somebody's not there talking about him in a negative light. And it's really crappy when you think about it because, well, no one's perfect, okay? And when you have multiple channels, multiple videos that is pointing and highlighting every single bad thing that you've ever said and ever done, that's all the internet's going to sit there and know you for. No matter what changes you made, no matter how many times you sit there and try to improve, you're constantly having somebody sit there talking about you in such just negative light. And he's done this and he's done that. And, he said this. And I remember that stream where he thought they had the camera off and yada, yada, yada. It's like, yo, we get it, you know? But that's the thing about these creators that make these negative videos about DarksydePhil. Because at the end of the day, no one's perfect. And can you imagine if the person is sitting there making a, negative video about him, if somebody made a negative video about that person and just constantly highlighting every single bad, stupid, dumb thing that he's ever said or she's ever said and done, and how it would make them feel? Don't get me wrong, we all love drama, okay? But like I said, no one's perfect. Now, the biggest thing about DarksydePhil that people constantly bring up is the eBay. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of it at all. It's just, I find it to be a bad look. Hell, the Scorn video where he lashed out at his subscribers because he felt like he wasn't getting enough support, even he admitted it was bad. Okay? I have nothing good to sit there and say about that. The only thing I will sit there and say is that as a creator, we all run our channels differently. We all run our streams differently. Yeah, for me personally, whenever I stream, I never stream with the expectation that people are going to give me stuff like I'm entitled to everything. That's just not how I operate. But with him, he calls it a quote unquote crowdfunding. Okay? He feels that he needs an X amount of money to sit there and justify taking the day off from work and doing a stream to sit there and entertain people. Now, I'll sit there and criticize whether that's right or wrong, right? But at the end of the day, that's his process. And although people may not always agree with, the way he sits there and constantly asks for money and stuff like that, if that's how he operates his streams, that's how he operates his streams. No one's perfect. Everyone has their own system and ways of going about it when they get money and stuff like that. I've always personally felt uncomfortable, even if I was just like, hey, if you're enjoying the stream, if you want to sit there and tip or whatever, I just don't like doing it. I don't like doing it, and I don't personally think it's the responsibility of my subscribers to sit there and tip me on anything. It's just not. But that's how I operate. And I don't think anyone should be really sitting there judging him on how he operates his channel and his streams and stuff like that. I just kind of want to sit there and make this quick video because, like, every day, there's one channel, and it's kind of creepy that this person, he makes reaction videos towards all his streams. He's been doing that for 6 months. It's creepy, to be honest. I mean, granted, he's not the only person that constantly talks about DarksydePhil, but it's bad. And I just feel like that the level of hate that he constantly gets is unwarranted. One of the things I will sit there and say before I go is that he wants to sit there and do a interview with Moist Critical. Moist Critical took the Scorn video, talked about it, said that, quote unquote, he's finally unmasked, right? But here's the thing about that video. We can look at that video and be like, well, that was bad. That's only one aspect of DarksydePhil. And I feel like, here's the thing, if Morris Critical is going to sit there and talk about that one instance, then maybe he should give us some context behind it. Get to know all of him before he sits there and points out one bad thing that happened in the stream. Because at the end of the day, no one's perfect. And it's very easy to sit there and point out every little bad thing that everyone has done and be like, oh, well, this person's finally unmasked. He said this, he did that. Let him explain his side of the story before we pass judgment. And I think that's something that DarksydePhil Smith is saying, is that a lot of people look at these videos and they only think one thing, because that's what YouTube and the internet is flooded with. It's flooded with all of the bad, negative stuff that Darkside has done. So everyone gets this impression that he is this terrible person and that he is just an e-beggar, and his channel is dying because of this, that, and the third, and he's just not a good person. And that's not entirely true. Don't get me wrong, I don't know DarksydePhil as much. I don't really watch his content as much. But the stuff that I did see, yeah, it looks bad. But then I sat there and I looked at some of the videos where he tries to explain himself. And people were just like, oh, well, he always has an answer for everything. No, it's not that he has an answer for everything, but there's always two sides to a story. And I feel like that gets lost in translation every time a new video comes out talking about the negative side or something that Darkside did that was like terribly bad. I don't know. I just wanted to kind of sit there and do this quick video because there's a lot of videos where they're just constantly dogging this guy 24/7. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve some of the criticism that he's getting, but some of this stuff has been up for quite a while. And this is like really old streams that they would constantly re-upload. They would constantly be like, hey, remember that time when he said this like 5-7 years ago? And it's like, really? Is this all I'm going to sit there and see from every DarksydePhil video? If I just type up the name DarksydePhil, you type it up right now, see how many videos that come up just saying his channel's dying and he's a bad person because this, that, and the third. Why don't you sit there and watch his content? Watch his content, see how he actually is, and then you can sit there and decide yourself. Because if you look at some of that stuff, some of it is from years ago. And I don't think that it's really fair to constantly be dogpiling on him now for stuff that he did back then. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. Let me get your thoughts are on DarksydePhil. Do you think that he deserves all the criticism that he gets? Or do you feel like there's two sides to a story and that we should just know him as a whole person before we sit there and take videos and things that he said out of context without fully understanding the backstory of where he's coming from? Let me know in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.